All right. Welcome to episode 166 of Psycho's Platters. I thought I'd do things a little bit different this time, okay? I came across an article. Here, let me see if I can pull it up on my phone, all right? From Facebook. This one here was an article from Joe Long from Records, Booze, Books, etc. It was posted in late January of last year. It says the 7 types of record collectors, and I thought I at least would share this with you. And yes, I'm going to probably read this verbatim, so bear with me. I'm going to just pretty much cut out the first paragraph and go to the 7, okay? Number 1 type is the lifer. Lifers never stop collecting vinyl and have a section of their homes dedicated to what they've accumulated. Lifers are the most skilled crate diggers on earth, able to smell a rare copy of the White Album a mile away. They schedule their lives around garage sales, flea markets, and Craigslist ads. They know just about what everything's worth, which gives them a leg up when shopping. They'll find out that gem in the buddy's grandma's basement for $2 and turn around and sell it for $200. They love music, but they love the hunt even more. I'm not a lifer, it says, but they're fascinating to watch in the wild. Anybody that knows me or even doesn't know me, I pretty much, okay, I guess I started buying records around age 5. I'm going to be 50 this year, okay? But I didn't start collecting until I was 12 in 1979 when the record store in my town opened up. So pretty much I have been going on 30, this will be my 38th year pretty much of collecting. I have had 3 collections. This one here, this 3rd collection I'm on, I have had that collection for almost going on 20 years. Almost. I know it's at least 15 years. Could be a little, let's say between 15 and 20 years I've had this last collection. So number 2, the obsessive. Obsessive record collectors own just about everything they can get their hands on. This type of collector not only has more albums than they know what to do with, they can't pass up a reissue of an album they already own. They can't pass up anything, actually, and restraint is not buying albums each and every day. An obsessive's collection is about 20 to 30% items that they have yet to unwrap. I'm not an obsessive, it says here, but I'm influenced by them. I think to myself, well, at least I don't own that much. I can justify these purchases. I love obsessive collectors, but don't want to be one. That's what he says in the article. Yeah, I think I know 1 or 2. I think I really kind of do. I will go off maybe once or twice a year, and I will do a little purging to just stuff that I just don't like, or I'm like, I don't need this, or I'll go, some of it I'll Goodwill, some of it I'll trade with another friend of mine, aka Doug Fields, and other parts I'll just take to the record store if it's like common type stuff and see if I can up trade, you know what I'm saying? So I try to do that. That's what I kind of do. I pretty much have got 2.5 bookcases of vinyl. That's just the albums. 45s, Lord knows. I've got at least, I'm not kidding, I probably have between 500 and 1,000 45s that I know of, maybe more, and some 78s and things like that. It says here the completist is number 3. I'm a bit of a completist. I have a handful of artists that I need to own every item from their catalog, and maybe even every side project or guest appearance as well. For me, this dates back to sport card collecting as a kid, and the need to complete the set for a season or my favorite team. Yes, I do need every release from Wilco, including reissues that only vary in the color or wax they're printed on. I used to be a baseball card collector too, so I kind of get it. I did have complete sets and things, but mostly I was a team collector. I had about almost 40 years of Cub cards. Seriously, every manufacturer at that time. From about 2004 going back to about 1964, and then I even had some other things. But I had to sell that collection off for reasons I don't want to talk about. That was in the 90s. So, what do I mean by completist? The Beatles, you should have seen my first collection. I was proud of my first collection. I didn't want to sell my first collection. My first collection, the reason why I ended up selling it I hung on to it from about 1979 to, we're going to say, early 89. Alright, so about 10 years. I ended up having to sell it because my first kid came on the way. My eldest son. And, you know, we were having money problems. And, you know, and, well, kids cost. You know, so I actually sold my whole first collection for diapers and formula and all the necessities, clothes, things like that. So, I mean, I regret selling it, but I don't regret the reason why I sold it, okay? How about we leave it at that? So, but like I said, Beatles and solo Beatles. I love trying. That would be my goal, is to complete the American releases of everything. Everything I mention is American stuff. Imports is a treat. I probably will never be able to afford that much. Of course, Monkees. That's another one. Everybody knows I'm a Monkees fan. I can tell you, at least as of this past summer, I was very happy to get all 9 original. I completed all 9 original Cold Gems studio albums. The only things I have left, I still would like to find a Birds, Bees, Monkees in mono, and Barrel Full of Monkees and Monkees Golden Hits. That would be everything from the Cold Gems line for albums, and then a handful of 45s, like the later stuff from 68 on. Kiss? Yes, I'm a big Kiss fan too. I have been since about 76. That's about when I started getting turned on to these guys. And so all the American stuff for Kiss, solo stuff, everything like that. Other ones I didn't have time to pull out, but Zeppelin. I love Zeppelin. I've always liked Zeppelin. I do have all of the official released studio albums. I still have a couple solo things I need to deal with. Badfinger. I am a huge Badfinger fan. I have every American Apple release. The only things I'm missing is I would love to get a hold of a copy of the Ivies album that was only put out in the UK, and I need to find a copy of the Badfinger Day After Day on Rykodisc, which is the Live 74 Cleveland Agora Ballroom tapes. They didn't make very many of those, I'm told, so I would love to find that stuff. But other than that, you know, for album-wise, I've got all the Badfinger stuff. And then lastly, the Yardbirds. Big Yardbirds fan. For Your Love's going to be the toughest one for me, honestly. I ended up finding the live one with Jimmy Page, which is like the second toughest. But once again, everything all American releases is all I'm trying to do for completest albums and 45s. Type 4, the audiophile. You know this guy. He's got the best system around and only listens and buys the most pristine pressings of every album. He's also obsessed with who pressed an album and if it was mastered digitally or analog. Parentheses, I'm caring about this more and more, he says. He's able to pinpoint who played on what album and will lecture you on why 180-gram albums are overrated. And he probably has a stack of 78s to boot. I sort of want to be this guy, but have no self-restraint. I got to tell you, between you and me, I am not a big 180-gram guy. I could care less. I just really wish they would go off and put things what they were. I'm trying to remember, what was it, about 90, 100 grams? Maybe on average for an album back in the 60s, 70s? 90, 100 grams maybe? That's what they need to go and do. Heck, even just kick it down to 120. I don't care. I don't need no 180 stuff. It's kind of ridiculous. And I'm happy with my Frankensteiner stereo system. And yes, I've got a stack of 78s. I'm proud of them. They're old blues stuff, blues and rock. The casual collector. This is the normal collector. They buy up a handful of favorites when they start collecting and add 3 to 5 titles per year, some new, some old. This person is also probably the most sane of the bunch. I pretend to be this person several times a year but can rarely pull it off. Boring. Yeah, kind of is. I don't know. Alright, next type, the limited edition collector. There was a time when I was attempting to run for president of this group. This group of collectors buy whatever is limited to or hand-numbered or pressed on cotton candy splatter translucent 200-gram vinyl. And then in parentheses it says, some of you just got excited. Like completists, there is no consideration given to the amount of copies already owned of an album, as long as it's a version they don't already have. This is a sickness I'm slowly recovering from. That's what this author said. To tell you the honest truth, I'm not really that much into the whole limited edition thing. If I had to happen to come across something beautiful, you know, like I said, once again, it's got to be one of my favorite groups that I want to be a completist of, or another thing, which I'm planning on doing a Psycho Platter episode sometime soon. I'm a sucker for picture discs. I have always been a sucker for picture discs, probably since the late 70s when I came across them in the stores. That's one of my weaknesses for limited edition type stuff, okay? The next type, the nostalgist. Nostalgists are coming out of the woodwork right now. They're buying their first record player ever or getting back into the game after riding the CD wave for decades. Nostalgists only buy the hits or their favorite albums from the past. They don't care about colored vinyl or numbered copies. They just want that copy of Rumors to toss on the turntable whenever they feel. Chances are, if you're a collector, you're a hybrid of a few of these, and there are plenty of other categories you could create as well as add to this list. What type of record collector are you? And once again, the author of this was Joe Long from Records, Booze, Books, and etc. You know what? Tell me in the comments. Tell me your truth. Okay? I gave you bits of what I've got here in my collecting life. Tell me what you think you are, or what do you aspire to be as far as for a collector is concerned. Just tell me some stories. Tell me some interesting things, you know, about your collectingdom. You know what? And we're just going to leave it at that. Comment below, and you take care. God bless, rock on, and I'll see you next time. That's for sure.